Welcome to A Lunch with Biggie, a podcast about small business and creatives sharing their stories and inspiring you. My guest today is a director of content at HiFive agency in Orlando. When he isn't coming up with creative ways to capture you, he's slinging weens and putting hunger in a headlock with his Mexican street hot dog concept, Cholo Dogs. Please welcome Jordan Eichenblatt to the show. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm reading about the Olympics right now.
You're reading about the Olympics?
Yeah.
Are they coming or not coming?
LeBron is not playing in the Olympics.
Okay.
But today they're going to announce if they're going through with the Olympics or not.
It's a big day. So before, obviously, I got a short lunch break, so
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time to meet me for lunch.
Of course.
Before I start, I guess, what's your favorite sandwich? What's your go-to sandwich?
Grilled cheese.
What is it? Grilled cheese?
Yeah, hands down.
Do you have a favorite cheese that goes with it?
American.
American.
Yeah, just a simple plain grilled cheese you get from a dive bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's pretty good.
Butter or mayo on the top? Do you like? Do you ever butter? Okay.
Butter, yeah.
Sweet. That's actually quite a very popular answer. Actually, the grilled cheese.
Are the answers hot sandwiches or cold sandwiches?
I get a mixture of sandwiches. I would say a lot more are hot in the sense of when they do grilled cheese,
Right.
but I've seen a little bit of everything from banh mi's to all the way to, muffalettas.
Yeah.
Some of them are it's interesting what people's go-to sandwiches are.
Yeah, but I mean, also though, summer's approaching, and there's nothing like a club sandwich at the pool.
Correct.
Which sounds so bougie of me.
A club sandwich.
I'll have the club at the pool.
At the club.
Thank you. Put it on my tab. Yeah, that's my go-to.
So let's talk a little bit about one of the big things. Obviously, you guys have exploded in the sense of you've been in business now for Cholo Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So Cholo Dogs is a Mexican street hot dog concept. Basically, It's a cart. And so tell me a little bit about it, but then also tell me how you guys came about it and naming it.
Yeah, so Cholo Dogs is Mexican hot dogs. It's, what I like to call it is just American hot dogs with Mexican toppings on top. But we've taken the whole vibe and everything with it in every creation and just given it a Mexican theme with Mexican ingredients and Mexican history to it, and really just bringing something that never existed before to life. How it happened was my business partner, Chris Delahuz, and I, we were business partners at HiFive. We're sitting at Graffiti Junction one day, and we didn't have HiFive yet. We were just coming up with like different brands. Like we were rebranding the Magic. We made a thing called Orlando Moonshots, which is like a fake baseball team. I think you've seen that before. Yep. And then this dude walks in talking about Mexican hot dogs, and we start talking to him about it, and his name's Franco. And just anytime you meet a guy named Franco, immediately have a conversation with him. And we started talking to him, and he had this thing where he used to make hot dogs across the road when he was wrestling. And then we're like, all right, that sounds kind of fun. So we made a fake brand for it, found Franco again. It took us like a week to find Franco. Showed him the brand, and he goes, see. And he's like, yes, let's do this. You guys take it. Here's money. Go and make it happen.
And that's pretty much how it went.
That's pretty much how it went. Like something that started as like just a fun branding project for us to do together, and then it turned into reality. And
was it one of those where because you guys once it was announced, it was like everyone was like, oh, where's Cholo Dog at? Where's it going to be at?
Sadly, people have calmed down. Like, where is it at? Where is it at? They pretty much know now. We're always at Tasty Takeover. But yeah, when it started, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? The answer was always Wally's. Like, that's where we are. And then when we started bouncing from bar to bar, people got a little bit more excited. And then,
Perfect. And then tell me a little bit more about Franco. I know he's, from what I've done, from my research on, he's, world champion.
Yep.
Wrestler.
108 world champion.
108.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And how many people are part of the Cholo Dog family that kind of help out? Because obviously it's not always you there, but
so I'm there. I'd say I'm there 50% of the time, and then there's Jeff. He's our Slinging Weens president, and then there's Emily, and she's the Slinging Weens salesperson, and then there's Mitch, myself, and Chris, who just provide support when needed. And then Franco himself just always hides. He's at every event. You just have to find him.
Yeah.
Like, he just watches what happens. He likes watching people enjoy the hot dog, and he always makes sure that when someone orders a Cholo Dog, that they represent everything the ween represents, just happiness, inclusion, joy, but a little bit of anger. Like, you gotta be a little bit angry.
Yeah, if you're going to be a wrestler, you're going to,
Exactly.
a lunchador.
You got a lunch. Ooh, a lunchador.
Don't take that. If you do, that's going to be a tag team thing here, because that's what I call my wrestlers, a lunchador.
We have a lunchador sticker on the card.
I know. So let's talk a little bit about the fact of, and obviously my whole thing is about trying to help small businesses and trying to provide, kind of inspiration, but at the same time give, help out.
At all these events, there's one person always walking around and say hi to everybody, and that's you. And I always notice that, and it's very nice.
Well, I think it's important, man. It's one of those things where I love being able to have that conversation, and I love mixing up with people just because I want to hear their story, but I also want to be able to see if I can. I always want to learn from folks, whether I can or can't. The other thing is, we're all in this together. That's kind of like I always want to find the interesting business, or like, and then why did you come up with this? Like, I always want to know that. I'm always inquisitive about it, mostly because my brand is different enough as it is. So I want to be able to know, like, how did you come up with yours? Type of thing.
Yeah, ours really came from Franco. He had some of the main hot dog, the borracho, came to him in a dream. The Pele Roja he used to make for his ex-lover. The Chicano he loved the Chicago dog, and he's like, well, how can I give it my spin? And then the Cholo dog, which ironically isn't our main isn't our namesake dog. The namesake dog is the borracho. The Cholo dog he was constipated, and he needed some spice to make him feel better. And it didn't work because, Cholo dogs sit pretty nice, just normal food. Yeah. But he thought it tasted so good. And then he has a playbook. And going through we call it the playbook. It's really his cookbook. Going through his cookbook is really difficult because you have one page, it's the hot dog. The next page is a wrestling move. Then it's another wrestling move. Then there's one that it could either be a hot dog or a wrestling move.
Got it.
So it's very confusing to read. So it takes a good amount of time to do some R&D for.
Sometimes you need a few cervezas in order to kind of be able to differentiate it.
A few cervezas, a couple leaves, and you're good to go.
So, talking about, since I mentioned you were the director of content at HiFive, and I know you guys in a short amount of time have collected a bunch of awards and recognitions, and for brands and businesses that maybe can't afford an agency like yours to kind of help them, is there any tips or advice that you would give folks that they should consider when they're trying to create content and basically trying to get their name out there?
Yeah, well, the first thing, nothing's unaffordable. It's always good to take meetings and call people. We are very small business friendly, so we want everyone to know that they can come to us, and we'll be able to hopefully work something out with them too. But our biggest advice, really is for brands, and it's work with us, is be different. Don't be the same. If there's a cool graphic design style that's happening this year, don't always pick that one up because everyone else is doing it because it looks cool. Maybe take a break from it. And I'm not calling anyone out in Orlando, but I am. And then there's just different. It's just really you want to be unique and different to yourself.
No, that makes sense, and it shows that concept or that idea, because some of the projects that you guys have worked on HiFive, I scratch my head going how did they find these guys? You guys have you guys are working with a hotel in Mexico, that does all self-sufficient and environmental and all this stuff. So you guys definitely are definitely preaching that idea, when you're with your clients and everything like that, even with the groups and projects that you're working on.
Yeah, we're really lucky that all of our clients, they refer us to people. So the guy in Mexico, we did another hotel that was within our network. We knew someone that worked there, and we did a video for them. And then they're called a B Corp, so they're super sustainable, environmentally friendly. And then this guy from Mexico, his resort, solar powered, built from bamboo. They grow and eat they grow their own food. They eat their own meat that they kill on property. That sounds so drastic, but they have pigs and beef on property. And so he saw the video because he was looking for a way to share the story of Playa Viva, and he called us. And the first thing he did was we're on the FaceTime call, and he called the video he had saw that. It would remind him of Indiana Jones Legends or Temple of Doom. Yeah. Which to me as a director was oh my God. And I don't know if he was just trying to hype me up, but that was the best compliment ever. So I was immediately yeah, we want to do it. But that one happened so quickly. We're literally sitting here. It was December, right before Christmas break. And Chris, my business partner, and I were sitting on the call with him. And then it normally goes there's a call, then we go back in with a price, and then it all happened just like that. So it was a little wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's very, very cool. Okay, so back to Cholo.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious why you guys call them weens versus traditional hot dogs. What's Franco's mentality on that, or rationale behind that?
So Franco loves animals. Like he loves pets. He loves cats, dogs, giraffes, elephants. A little skeptical on llamas, but which is just when you meet him, you'll have to ask him about it. When he would be in the wrestling ring, he would use hot dogs as a weapon, not a weapon of sorts, but he'd use it as a prop to like hit people in the face. So instead of I'm hitting you with the dog, because some people would be like, oh my God, you're hitting him with the dog? Is the dog okay? He's like, oh no, I'm just hitting you with a ween.
I'm slinging weens at you.
So he's slinging weens at you, exactly. And it comes off better. So that was one of his moves, was slinging weens. And when he slung weens, if you were against him, you're in trouble. Yeah, so that's why they're called weens.
Absolutely.
Also, it's super fun to say.
It is.
Yeah.
Slinging weens. It sounds a little bit better than hot dogs.
Yeah, it's like Cholo Dog hot dogs, like Cholo Dogs. It's like you're wearing this shirt right now, which is respect. So.
Gotta love it, dude. Gotta love it. How do you measure success, Jordan?
I think everyone measures success differently. For me, personally, I measure success with smiles. Like I've always just wanted to make people smile. And so if I can make more people smile with Cholo Dogs, and to me, that's successful. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's, are you able to float and afford your business? But in terms of like what I think, if that money thing wasn't an option, then I would say smiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's that's always a good thing to be able to kind of, I know for me, my big thing is like that feedback whenever I get to do, especially events or just hear, kind of get that feedback, like that experience and all that type of stuff are all things that usually for me as well, kind of, it re-energizes me when I'm, based on what I'm doing. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Since obviously you guys have a team and you're a team basically with a HiFive or a Cholo Dog,
yeah.
How important is it to surround yourself with the right people?
Extremely important. I think the biggest advice I ever read was from this like book about like how Pixar came, is hire people that are better than you. And that's what we've done here at HiFive and done at Cholo Dog. So it's really important to have a team that, you can support one another for work, but also just in personal life too, if there's something, because, you're spending a lot of hours together for whatever it is you're doing. And then you're in the thick of it, you're spilling hot dog water on your foot. You might get mad. So like, that's an experience you want to share with somebody, because that hurts. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's always important to hire a really good team.
And then how did you guys go about, I love the branding. So branding to me is like one of the big things. Like obviously I'm really big into it with my own brand.
Yeah.
But with Cholo Dog, I love, like if someone were to come and you're in Orlando and you go to a Tasty Tuesday or was it a Tuesday Takeover, Tasty Tuesday?
Tasty Takeover on.
Yeah, Tasty Takeover.
Tasty Takeover on Tuesdays.
Yeah, when you go there and you go see your cart and you see like you guys have everything from like the ring bell, so when your order's ready, you're ringing the bell. You even have basically the candles like you would if you were in Mexico, like in Tijuana, and all that stuff. Plus, not to mention like the whole cart is wrapped like a wrestling match, an Orlando wrestling match were to happen.
There are Orlando elements on it.
Yeah, it has all the Orlando elements on it. All those little things are just kind of like, they're all pieces. So can you talk a little bit about the importance of branding and how you kind of have to piece everything together?
Luckily for us with Cholo Dogs, Cholo Dogs hired HiFive, and that was HiFive's first project, and we were essentially our own client. So there are no limitations, and we just wanted it to be more than getting a hot dog. We wanted it to be an experience. And so, to make an experience, we have 4 main hot dogs. On the side of the cart, there are 4 like baseball cards of those hot dogs, like, with their characters. And on the front of the cart, it's a whole wrestling match. They're all vying for the coveted hot dog up top. And so to make it a whole experience for people, we play, our punk rock music. We play, instead of, what you would think like luchador music or Mexican music, we play punk rock music. We just make it a whole experience for people. That way they can laugh not only at like, oh, I'm eating a ween, but they can laugh at, and enjoy the whole experience from ordering it to eating it to visually. So I think that, like, kind of think Rainforest Cafe, like that whole experience is wild and awesome. Yeah. But now you can kind of give it a PG-13 rating, and then you get Cholo Dogs.
Okay.
And not that big a restaurant. There's no elephant.
Yeah, definitely no elephant and no lightning and thunder fake effect. And real effect, because when you're selling outside.
Real effect when we're selling outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Like today, like I'm looking at the weather right now, we might get our first rain out of the year.
Yeah, that's always a tough one, right? Like when you're selling the deal with having to sell outside and be in the elements, because you guys don't have a tent. You kind of pretty much have like your cart, and you have maybe an umbrella occasionally.
Yeah.
And the rest is just kind of dealing with the elements of it.
Yeah, living in Florida in the summer, it's going to be tough. And we've experienced rainouts before, so it's nothing new. It's not ideal. We have brought the cart inside before, which then we were like, oh, this is super legal because it's like propane and like, boom. But there are some like fire retardant buildings that we've brought it in, or fire suppressed buildings. But yeah, there's nothing. If it rains, it rains. There's nothing really you can do. Just protect the merch, protect the technology, and then hopefully you didn't have too many weens in the water that you're wasting.
Yeah, definitely no wasted weens.
Yeah, and weens are wasted sometimes, and it's not good. There actually was a deal in the operating agreement. If you don't sell out, you had to eat a whole pineapple, like rind and everything. And then one of the lawyers was like, "This is not acceptable. We're taking this out." But that was like the agreement.
I would have thought you would have said you had to drink the hot dog water.
We have that ween water for sale now. Yeah,
I have seen the ween water.
I'll give you one. Yeah.
Oh, sweet! I'm looking forward to tasting one of those.
You shouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys just named. I just saw Orlando Magazine just named you guys top American cheap eats in Orlando. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. And you guys have gotten quite a bit of accolades. How have you guys, besides obviously creating great product, how have you guys gone the route of creating that publicity or getting the word out and letting people know, who you are and to be able to do all that?
We've only really pushed to win one of those voting things once, and we got like second runner up after because then I'm not going to say what it was, but it was so weird. We got like the number one choice, second to the writer's choice, which is third to the main choice, which is like, okay, there's a paywall here essentially. So we were kind of discouraged after that, and then everything else just kind of came naturally. So we had no idea about this Orlando Magazine thing, so that was really, really cool. To get now, the Orlando Weekly had just had their nominations close, and I think they announced who made it past the nominations, and we're hoping we made it past, because if we do, we're going to go full on blitz, and we want to win best of. We want to win the best food truck, best hot dog. There's a lot of other hot dogs in Orlando now. There's Portillo's, there's the Chicago hot dog, there's Hot Dog Heaven, and we want to let them know who's boss. In a nice, polite way. Correct. While giving them a black eye.
It's good. It's good to have competition. It's good to have.
They're not competition.
Well, it's different. It's different.
They're not competition.
I like it. I feel like I'm in a wrestling, having a wrestling conversation right now.
Yeah, I'm cutting my promo right now.
Yeah, you're cutting it right now. No, I think that's kind of one of the big things. I get it. Like it's good to have get that recognition, but it's also good to kind of like I said, it's good. It is good to have the competition to be able to kind of at least get you going. The nice thing about you guys is that since your hot dogs are so different, it's a different taste whatsoever.
And Hot Dog Heaven has great hot dogs too. Yeah. And Portillo's, we love to troll them on their Instagram page. Like if you follow their Beef Bus page, whenever they post, we just comment things like, "Does your girlfriend know you posted this?" Or just like, "Where's your refrigerator today?" And then like when people are waiting in line, we let them know like there's never a line at Cholo Dogs. We get them through. Like Franco really wants us to go to the Portillo's opening on in a couple of weeks and pass out free hot dogs to people in line.
Why not? We
have to find permission to be somewhere. It might happen, it might not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I look forward to seeing what happens there. So since we're talking so much about weens, I would be remiss, and I think people would ask me as the sandwich guy to not ask you this question.
Yeah.
And I'm basically I'm just going to let you answer it. But to you, Jordan.
To me.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is it a yes or no question?
I'm just asking.
So before I get to my answer, I'll get you to a friend of mine once sent me a whole scientific article that a hot dog is a taco.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
However, a hot dog is not a sandwich or a taco. A hot dog is a ween.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because the president of the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council also agrees with you.
That he said it's a hot dog?
Well, he says a hot dog is a hot dog. Yeah. It's a hot dog. It's basically its own entity. It's not. So therefore, a hot dog is a ween. Makes total sense.
If you are served a hot dog with a bun broken, then you have a sandwich. If you are served a hot dog in a tortilla, then you have a taco.
Okay.
But in a hot dog bun, it is a ween.
I got you.
How do you become the president of the hot dog?
I don't know, but if his Twitter account is pretty bomb, it's Meat VP. So instead of MVP, it's Meat VP.
I like that.
And he's pretty nice. Like I've actually we've messaged each other because obviously since he and I agree with each other, whenever people bring up the topic, I just automatically just go, hey, go talk to the Meat VP.
Yeah, go talk to this
I was
guy.
like, don't talk to me about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, not my topic.
Yeah, not your problem.
Yeah, not my problem.
Yeah, that is the answer, sandwich guy. It is a ween.
Okay. I gotcha. What any advice or anything that you would give someone starting out, basically wanting to start something? Maybe they're afraid. I mean, obviously, I definitely would say you guys embodied. You've embodied some. Maybe it's the extra weens, but you've definitely embodied Franco in the sense that you guys are definitely not scared of a challenge and scared to take on new opportunities. So, what would you say for people wanting to start something that maybe are a little scared or concerned? What are your thoughts? Or what do you want to share with them?
The biggest mistake you can make are the things you don't do. So if you don't do it, you'll always regret it. And if you do it and you fail, at least you did it.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
I like it.
Yeah. I think it's pretty simple. No one's asking me really for advice when they do it. And when people do, I tell them the same thing. I'm like, do this, or there's a lot of ways you can go. I'm not going to give you the whole trade secrets, but you will always regret it if you don't do something that you want to do.
I gotcha. Sweet. How can people find you? Follow Cholo Dog.
Yeah.
Support Cholo Dog.
So you can, Instagram is our biggest thing, at Cholo Dogs, CHOLODOGS. Come out to our events, buy our merch, buy our hot dogs, just support, give us Google reviews. You saw what happened the other week.
Yep.
Yeah, we got, so yeah. That's the best way to support Cholo Dogs.
How do you handle that, out of curiosity? The review. I mean, obviously, community is really big.
I'll share the whole story. Is Chris and I were sitting in his office, and his phone rang like 5 times, and finally he answered it, and he's like, "Hello." Like either someone has clearly died, or it's just someone being a jerk. And the guy goes, "So are you coming tomorrow or what?" And he's like, "What?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, we talked yesterday." And Chris goes, "Oh, did you send the email?" And I looked at the email, like, we didn't get an email. And the guy was like adamant he sent it to the wrong place. It was our fault the email didn't go through. And we're like, "Oh, we're sorry. Oh, but we're also booked that night too." And then he said, "Okay, bye." And then that review popped up on Google and then on Facebook. And I don't know what a Fortune 100 company is, but that dude, his grammar, not the best. And we had a whole response. And then Chris was like, "Nah, let's just put chill out, we're a hot dog cart." And that's what we did. And then all of our friends came and backed us up.
Yep.
And different customers, you wrote a review on there too. We appreciate it. Yeah. And just kind of drowned that guy out, because it was kind of a bummer. It was our first Google review, actually. And then we got 27 in a day. But yeah, the guy's response was like, you're recommended. We were so excited if you were recommended for a private party and you're not even booked, why get excited? And then we're so disappointed how rude you were. Like, we weren't rude. Like, we told you what to do. But so I mean, you just got to handle it the best way possible. We've had negative remarks before, like, people don't like how loud we are, on the cart. People we just got to handle it. Like, look, that's your problem. Don't come back, or deal with it. There's another food truck that really dislikes, our bell. Like, really dislikes our bell. And the best was the person who runs Tasty Takeover and told them, "Oh, if you dislike their bell, you don't have to come back."
Okay. Yeah, or go the other side of the lot.
No, they told us not to come back if they don't like it.
Just don't come back.
Yeah.
Just don't come back if you can't go. Yeah. If you can't deal with it.
You can't deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Perfect.
Yeah. You gotta not fight back with negativity. You gotta fight back with positivity.
I like it. Kill them with kindness, man. That's one of my. That's definitely one of mine. So.
Exactly. I have a question for you.
Please.
What's your sandwich?
What's my favorite sandwich?
Yeah.
So my favorite sandwich that I've pretty much have lived and died with saying since I started Deli Fresh Shreds, and it's because it is one of my favorite sandwiches, is the chimu.
What's the chimu?
So back in the day, Thomas currently owns Pig Floyd's.
Yeah.
He owned a food truck called the Treehouse Truck.
Yeah.
And one of the first sandwiches that he made, I would say the two big things they were known for was the Luther burger, which is with the donuts. And then the second one was the chimu. Chimu is a steak. It's half steak, half chicken. So chimu. It has Asian slaw with mango barbecue sauce. And then it has sweet potato fries. Wow. And then they use a Puerto Rican, kind of Puerto Rican bread called pang soao, which is like a little bit sweet and it's fluffier. and they basically, everything is all in one. So I call it like a full meal sandwich because it's got the sides, everything's all inside.
How old were you when you discovered that sandwich?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be at least like nine or 10 years ago.
Okay.
Before that, I mean, obviously my whole thing, like that's probably like my favorite that I would say, like, to the point where every birthday since the time that he had it, I would go get it. And then even for my 40th, Kristen worked with him to actually make me one at Pig Floyd. So
that's really cool.
He actually brought steak and actually made me.
People love you, man. So they always do that for you.
And I appreciate that.
So, but that doesn't answer my question. What is your all-time favorite sandwich? You've only liked that sandwich for 9 years. You're what?
Yeah,
44?
I'm 44. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had.
What do I have before
34
that?
years of loving sandwiches. What was the sandwich?
It depends on where I go. It really depends on where I go. And the reason I say that is like, I go to well, here's the thing.
If all the sandwich stores in the world are closed, you can only have the grocery store. What is your favorite sandwich?
And I'm making it.
Yeah.
If I'm making it, I'm probably going to, I mean, I never say no to an ultimate if I'm going, like if I'm doing like the triple meats.
Yeah.
But like, I also have like certain ones like where like a chicken parm sub, I never say no to a chicken parm sub.
It's a sandwich.
Or a meatloaf sandwich, leftover meatloaf.
Whoa.
That's like one of my all-time. Like when I used to get so excited when my mom would make meatloaf.
See, there it is. That's one
because that when my mom would make meatloaf, and I knew that the next day I get to have a meatloaf sandwich to go to school.
Yeah.
Because my lunch at school was like this is the part that's crazy. My parents are not big sandwich people.
What?
At all. Wow. They're like not big sandwich people at all. So
okay.
like they basically like my parents believe that a sandwich is like lunch and that's it.
Right.
They don't think it's for lunch, dinner like me, how I think it's for every meal. So I made everything into sandwiches. So I always was like, I want to make it into a sandwich.
Right.
Because I couldn't, I guess I was deprived, I guess. It sounds horrible to say, but like, I mean, I was deprived of sandwiches. Yeah. My parents, and it was fine. But I mean, I remember I was kind of always looked at as a big kid. So I always had I remember like little Tupperwares with like tuna and no bread and so stuff like that. So I think because of that, I'm like, give me the sandwich.
All right. So here's 4 other questions I have for you. I came prepared too.
I love this.
Number 1, is a bagel a sandwich?
A bagel, if you can use it as
bagel with cream cheese is a sandwich. Okay, what is it?
It's a bagel.
All right.
It's just like bread and butter.
Is cereal soup?
Oh, well, if you go with your context of your if you were to go with the hot dog as a taco, then my rebuttal always then is cereal is soup. The only time to me cereal is soup is when I have breakfast for dinner and I have cereal as my soup because it's kind of like, when you go to
when you have dinner, you have cereal?
Yeah.
I feel like that's against the rules.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it just needs to be bacon and eggs.
No. I didn't say. Did you hear what I said? I said I had soup. I had soup. I didn't say that's my meal. I said it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you get I'll have a bowl of clam chowder. That's what I do. I get a bowl. I have a small bowl of cereal.
Yep.
And then I have my breakfast or my brinner, whatever you want to call it.
Is melted ice cream a milkshake?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or is it cold soup?
It's like cold gazpacho.
Yeah.
Sweet gazpacho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is. Maybe it's a sad or just a sad ice cream.
Sad ice cream. My final question for you is chips on sandwiches, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that crunch factor.
You
gotta have the layering of flavors, and you gotta have that. Yeah, I think that's like so big.
That's why we have an off-menu item called the Denny DeFrito. And we have Fritos on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that crunch factor is just great for a good potato chip, Doritos, any of that stuff is clutch.
Yeah, those are my questions.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate the questions.
Yeah.
I may have to incorporate this.
Please take them.
I may incorporate this and ask people to give me 4 questions.
Yeah,
kind of add to the show.
It adds to it.
I like it, man. I like it. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for Jordan for being on and having lunch with me. Definitely make sure to check check them out online. But if you're in Orlando, Florida, by all means, definitely go and try to arm wrestle and try to see if you can spot Franco. But definitely get some Cholo Dogs.
It stinks this is over. He's walking in right now. That's such a bummer.
Oh, I see him. I see him. I get to finally meet him. So we're going to definitely cut this short. If you enjoyed this show, definitely make sure to subscribe. If you want to support, check out my brand, Deli Fresh Threads, and do come shop and tell your friends. Thank you so much. Until next time, keep eating sandwiches and follow your passion. Thanks, guys.